Listen, this is a special presentation, a video, a talk I want to have to real, authentic, true Canadians. My name's Ken, and if you don't know already, I'm the cottage guy. And I love being that person. And listen, I gotta share something with you. I'm right now up at Stony Lake in Ontario, and I'm at our family cottage. Now check this out. This is a cottage that I bought 7 years ago for $895,000. It has not just this one beautiful bungalow, but it also has that cottage. And it also has this incredible family area. Mini Nordic spa with hot tub, cold plunge and sauna, fire pit. And here's the best part. I acquired this property with zero of my own money, and I acquired it through my business because we keep this blue cottage private for our family. But the red cottage we rent out on Airbnb. We make over $10,000 a month. Now the cool thing about it is the whole expenses for this property are about $5,000 a month. So we make $5,000 a month in profit on this property. And if you want to know how to do this and buy a cottage for your family and make enough money to cover all the expenses of it, then stay tuned in this video. I'll get into it with you right after this. Hi, my name's Ken Dunn, and I am the lead developer and the mastermind behind the Cottage Dream Vacations business. At Cottage Dream Vacations, we're building a brand of luxury hotels and resorts right across Canada and maybe even other parts of the world. In this video series, I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. I'm going to introduce you to the key players that are going to run the resorts. I'm going to help you to understand how I find these properties, how I raise the money for these properties, how I pick the teams that are going to build the resorts for us, and most importantly, how I get to enjoy the properties when they're done. Hey, if you're interested in vacationing at luxury properties, or if you're a real estate developer that wants to get into developing projects like this yourself, then come on this video journey with me and let's learn this stuff together. All right, let me show you the rest of the property here. So we've got a raised little grass area here where we've got cornhole on it. You go down to the fire pit, beautiful big slabs of granite around the fire pit to keep it nice and safe. And then the fire pit transitions right into our mini Nordic spa. And in the mini Nordic spa, we've got the hot tub, the cold plunge, the sauna, the whole structure. And then down here, this is the cottage we rent. This is a really, really tricked out, beautiful 5-star cottage. It's rated on Airbnb as one of the guest favorite cottages in our Superhost account. And you can see this place, it's gorgeous. So upstairs we have 3 single beds, so the kids can be up there. It's just very, very authentic lakeside, beautiful kitchen, well appointed, big, beautiful dining area and overlooking the lake. Do you see that? It's right on the water, it's gorgeous. And when people rent this place from us, we give them everything they need to have all the fun they could in the world. So in here, a whole bunch of life jackets and everything. Now we're between stays. We have friends just leave this weekend. You can see how gorgeous it is. And now let me take you out here on the back deck. Freaking amazing. Look at that. I normally, when I'm here, I put my boat in the water, but it just didn't work to do it this weekend. Gosh, it's bright out here this morning. But we've got our Sea-Doos right there whenever we're up here. Put the Sea-Doos in the water. When we're not here, we don't leave our power toys in the water. It's just too much risk. But all the fire, all the life jackets, everything is there. And you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kayaks, 2 standing paddle boards, and a canoe. And it's amazing. And this cottage is literally rented 95% of the time, and people love it. You can see, I'll flash up the Airbnb account on here so you can see this, but what I want to talk to everybody about is how you can do this. So I'm sitting here on Stony Lake on Sunday morning. Check this out. Look how quiet. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Got a couple guys out there fishing right in the center. And the rest of this bay is just glass. You can even see the reflection off the trees. But friends, I gotta tell you, there's never been a better time to do this. And what do I mean by do this? Let me ask you a question. How would you like to own a beautiful lakeside cottage like this, and you don't have to use a dime of your own money to do it, and you get to use it whenever you want, but when you're not using it, you do short-term rentals, and you rent it out so other families can enjoy it too. And you rent it enough that it covers all the expenses. So it's a free accumulating asset. So when I bought this property, it was $895,000 that I paid for it. Somebody who's smart can go to House Sigma and you can see what I paid for it. It didn't have the fire pit. It didn't have the mini Nordic spa. None of the landscaping was really done. We didn't do a single thing to this cottage on the water. The only thing we did was installed these decks. So we just made the decks bigger and took them right down to the water so people can put their boats against it there. I had an appraisal done on this property about 3 months ago, and it appraised at $2.2 million. And we are right now in a bit of I want to say a cottage dilemma going on right now, where the prices of cottages are going down like crazy. Nobody's buying them. The values of cottages is going down, but this still appraised at $2.2 million. And you can see the value as I showed you around the property. Because over time, real estate is always going to accumulate in value. You guys know that already, and that's what I'm taking advantage of. Today in our portfolio, as of today, we have 10 short-term rentals. We have 7 cottages, we have 11 now. And we have 4 individual short-term rental units in the city, and they're all renting at capacity. Now, the reason they're renting at capacity is because I figured out marketing. I figured out how to actually make them irresistible. So we put a mini Nordic spa on every one of our properties. Even the 4 rentals in the city in the backyard has a mini Nordic spa, because that catches people's attention and it differentiates them from everything else that's renting on Airbnb. And then we use algorithms to set our prices dynamically. So the prices constantly change, so that it knows who's looking and it gives them a price that the algorithm knows they'll take. So we do all this, and because of that, we're renting at near capacity. Now people say, oh, in a down economy, nobody's gonna rent. And in a down economy, nobody's gonna buy. Like all the negative naysayers out there, let me tell you something, friends, they're all wrong. We have it happening. So in our 11 units, the smallest unit we have is a bachelor apartment in the city of Whitby, and that unit makes us $9,000 a month. All of our units are working at about a 50% profit margin. That means 50% of what we make goes towards expenses. So the mortgage, the insurance, the internet, the heat, the hydro, all of the expenses, property taxes, and 50% is profit. So now we've got about $120,000 a month coming in income and about $60,000 in profit a month. I think it's a really great business that we're growing here. But let me tell you how you can do it. It's really simple, and it revolves around understanding the rules of private mortgages and what you can and cannot do. Did you know that you can borrow money directly from somebody else's RSPs, and you can pay them interest, which goes back into their RSPs, so they make more money with their RSPs. And you can do this with anybody you know. You can do it from any friends, family, or something called accredited investors. And so what you do is you go out and you find an old dilapidated cottage. Now let me tell you the secret to doing this. The number one secret. I only buy old, dilapidated, broken down cottages. And there's one thing that's more important than anything that has to be present in that cottage: 3-season cottages. See, a lot of people will go out and they'll build little 3-season cottages for their families, and they don't use them in the winter. They just shut them down. Well, what I can do, and I've done this about 18 times now, so I know it works every single time. If I buy an old 3-season cottage that has a lot of very favorable conditions, in other words, it's close to the water is weed-free so that the kids can swim around, it's isolated, there aren't a bunch of other cottages around it. If I take that cottage and I winterize it, so I'm basically taking it from a cottage to a lakeside home, I can double the value of it. And like I said, friends, I've done this 18 times in 7 different provinces. It works. So I'll buy a cottage for 300 grand. I'll put 150,000 into it. I'll put $100,000 into the renovations, and I even borrow the money to make the interest payments. It's called an interest reserve. So I'll borrow 150 grand to do all the renovations and pay the interest. So that means if I paid 300 for it, put 150 grand into it, I now owe $450,000, but the cottage ends up being worth $900,000. And when I get to that point, I'll go into the Bank of Montreal. Bank of Montreal is the best bank in this country for people that have cottages. They are the only bank in Canada that has a short-term rental product. They will actually give you a mortgage based on the money and the profits that the cottage is making, or that the short-term rental is making. It's freaking amazing. So I'll buy the property, I'll get a 1-year private loan for 300 grand, and I get this through a mortgage broker, and then I'll borrow the money from my friends, mostly from their RSPs, the 150 grand. I'll pay them 15% interest, and I'll do the whole renovation in about 6 months. See, in 1 year, I have to renovate the property and start renting it. And I need about 6 months of rental history when I go to the Bank of Montreal. But I've got this down to a system now. So I'll do all that. I'll start renting it. And about 9 months in, I'll go to the bank and I'll apply for a new mortgage. And they'll give me a new mortgage up to 65% of the value. But I don't care. If it's worth $900,000 now, I only need $450,000. That's 50%. So I'm well inside of what they'll allow. And they'll give me an A mortgage at about a 5% interest rate. So principal and interest payments that work out to be about $1,500 a month. So with all my expenses, so my property taxes, my mortgage payments, my interest, landscaping, maintenance, cleaning, like everything, I'm only paying about $5,000 a month for this property, and I'm making anywhere between $10,000 and $12,000 a month. And if you understand this, friends, I haven't used a dime of my money to do this. That means I can do this over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to do that. Our plan in our company is to do this and acquire 100 cottages in the next 10 years and run them all through our system. So here's my question. If I'm doing this as a business and I'm going to acquire 100 cottages, and you think about that, 100 cottages, an average $5,000 a month in income. That's $5 million a month in income from 100 cottages. But if I'm doing it at scale in a business, why shouldn't you do this for your family? In fact, I have a special offer for you. If you'd like me to help you buy a cottage for your family, to renovate it and make enough money with that cottage that it pays for all the expenses of the cottage and gives you some cash in your pocket, if you'd like that, I want you to go into the comments of this video and I want you to type cottage. Listen, let me prove it to you. I'm gonna flash on the screen right now. These are all the cottages I'm doing this with right now. This is real. I run a coaching program that it only costs a couple $100 to join, and I will send you a link. You can watch a full presentation, a video that I did where I did a training for a whole bunch of people on how to do this. And then if you like what you see, you can join the community. It's a couple $100. And here's what I promise you. If you join our cottage business coaching community, we have a private Facebook group that you get to join. There's over 1,400 people in it already. We have helped hundreds of people to do this. I have contractors all over Canada that I'll refer you to. I have real estate agents all over Canada that I can refer you to, and here's the best part. I have a list of over 7,000 private lenders across Canada. They have, like, between them all, billions of dollars, and they have told me that they will lend money to anybody that's doing cottages with me because they know I'm good at it and they know I'll help you to do it. We meet once a week on Zoom, and I can look at the cottages and I can talk directly with you. When you're ready to do this and you need the money, I can get you all the money you need to do this, all the private loans, and I'll hold your hand and walk you through it. And here's the best part. If you pay me a couple $100 and join our coaching community and I can't get you the money, I'll give you your money back and I'll let you stay in the coaching community. So if you'd love to do this, if I've got your attention and you'd like to know more and you want to watch the full training on doing cottages, and you'd like to look at joining my cottage coaching community, I want you to type cottage in the comments, and I'll send you a link so you can watch the video and you can get yourself signed up. I think I'm gonna grab my eldest and head out on the Sea-Doos. I think it's time. You know, there's just so many things about this. Those Sea-Doos right there, this trailer for the Sea-Doos, this ATV for pulling the Sea-Doos, they're all owned by the business. So we use them for our business, but my family gets to use them whenever we want. Friends, if you'd like to know more about this, type cottage in the comments and I'll shoot you a link so you can check it out.